Hello and welcome to the bus home on the Boys on the Bus podcast. Hibs 1, Celtic 2. I'm your host, Terry Robb, and I am joined by the gaffer, Phil McGinley. I've got my wee Under Armour on here, so I'm just trying to get my top set up there because it's a wee bit cold down this old shed on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Great win for Celtic, great result. Performance so doesn't matter. 3 points, go to Easter Road, you get the points. That's the main thing. It's been an excellent week in the world of Celtic. Started last weekend with last-minute winner from Callum McGregor, carried on into Thursday night with a away win in Europe when we weren't expecting it, and today at a very, very difficult venue domestically, we go there and we get the job done. I'm over the moon, Phil. How are you?
Yeah, exact same as you. Relieved more than anything. I think on Thursday night before the game, Martin O'Neill said to the TNT reporter about performance is secondary. It's all about the result. And this is the same today. Performance, say, bit underwhelming second half, a wee bit reminiscent of St Mirren last week. Had to grind it out, but huge win. It was a fixture that I think many fans were going into. You look at it on the calendar, it's after the European game. We expended a lot of energy on Thursday night to get that final result. Hibs, I mean, they kept reminding us, Eli Barber said a few times about how Celtic haven't won at Easter Road after a European game for God knows how long now. So all that's in your mind. But yeah, a pretty comfortable first half, second half, so, but we saw it out in the end, and that is the most important thing.
I know nobody wants to hear or cares, but I've only just caught up. So I watched the match. Only finished for me about 6 minutes ago because with my young lads playing football, sometimes there's games on a Sunday, and that 12 o'clock kickoff really doesn't suit. So I'm still on the come down here. The final whistle only blew for me five or 6 minutes ago. So I do well to avoid the score. To be honest, I just switch the phone off. I tell anybody around me if anybody tries to tell me anything about the match, I'm just going to punch in the face straight away. Well, just before we do all that good stuff, shout out to my young lad Alex. He watches the show actually. If our show gets 1,000 likes or 1,000 views, he's probably about 40 or 50 of them because he keeps watching them over and over and over, and he tells all his friends in the school bus, and they all sit and watch, and they think his dad's some sort of celebrity podcaster. Well done to him. He scored 2 brilliant goals this morning. Unfortunately, was on the losing side, but he'll be sitting watching now.
Good.
Like and subscribe, Alex. Tell all your friends. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Phil, you tell them all what you do.
Yeah, as Terry just said there, just do all that good stuff. I keep saying about the interactions. YouTube will push an interactive channel. So the more likes and comments we get, the better. We're more likely to pop up in people's algorithm on YouTube. And if they like Celtic podcast content, then the Boys on the Bus is more likely to appear in their recommended videos, and it helps us out massively. Of course, if you hit the subscribe button, there's always a milestone to be hit. So yeah, we're heading towards 2,000 now, I guess would be the next one, or 1888, as you said the other night, Terry. Somebody could be the 1888 subscriber, the 1967 subscriber. But yeah, we're on 1,100 something just now. So yeah, we're just motoring along nicely. Of course, get involved in our comments. Let us know what you thought of the game today. Because yeah, to say it was a massive win, and yeah, I can sense already from what I've seen a lot of relief in the chat as well. And yeah, what else can you do? You can become a Boys on the Bus member for $1.99 a month. Just keeps the wheels turning on the bus, because as I say, none of our content is going to be behind a paywall. We're never going to hide anything on Patreon and make you pay extra for it. It's just a wee tip of the cap to the guys on the team. And yeah, if you like to catch up via audio, then we've got a link to our SoundCloud website. We don't do Spotify. It's too convoluted to set up Spotify. I looked into it and I was like, God, this is not, I cannot get my head around all the instructions for it. So we're on SoundCloud, and you can get the link to it in the description below the video. And well, that's said and done. Yep, that's all the good stuff out the way, Terry. On we go.
See, I don't know how Spotify works. All I know is I get music free on Spotify, and I don't know how or why I'm getting it. Smell the Glove. He can play anywhere. He's a good wee player. He can play. He usually plays centre midfield, but he just gets the ball and does his own thing. What was I going to say? There was another point there. Oh, I know. I'm a bit of a sicko, Phil. So you know what I'm going to do? See, when it's near the 1967 subscriber and the 1888, I'm going to unsubscribe and then try to land on the dot. That's what I'm going to do. That's my ambition.
Okay, fair enough. I'll need to get some sort of celebration done on screen for that when it hits that milestone. You might be on screen when it happens. There you go. I'll get some sort of fireworks or something to go off on screen.
Background to today's game. There was a game yesterday involving the league leaders, Heart of Midlothian. I tuned into bits and pieces of it. Bit of a damp squib, if I'm being honest. Again, anytime I've watched Hearts, I haven't seen anything that we need to be particularly worried about. Yesterday was pretty similar. I actually fancied Motherwell could get the job done there. I believe there's also another game going on at the moment at Ibrox. If my little ticker's telling me the right thing here, it's 5 minutes into the second half and it's still no score. So, guys, in the comments,
over 2 o'clock, right? Okay.
Was that at 2 o'clock? I thought it was a 3 as well. But
if you said second half, then yeah, it must be. They must have kicked off at 2.
I'm on live score here, and it's saying 50 minutes. That could be a mistake, to be honest. But
okay. We'll
see. The guys in the comments can let us know what's happening there at Ibrox, just to keep us aware of all things going on in the league. I see. To be honest, I sat and watched Kilmarnock and Dundee United last night because I just enjoy watching Scottish football. I just like it. There was an English game on at the same time, Everton and Newcastle, but I had no interest in that, and I just thought I'm going to sit and watch Killie and Dundee United. I love watching the Scottish game. But anyway, 50 minutes gone, 0-0 is what Johnny Grade 6 is letting us know. So you can keep us aware of that. There's a wee comment that we'll touch on later in the game. Terry's concentrating on splitting the. Hang on, I can't grab that comment. It's just up at the top of the screen. Why is it not coming up? Concentrating on splitting the G. There you are.
There you are.
Splitting the Stevie G. No, Rangers started at 2 o'clock apparently. Okay. We kicked off at 3. We kicked off with the following lineup. This came through: Smigel, Donovan, Trusty Scales. Martin decides to bring in Sriracha for Kieran Tierney. Maybe a little bit surprising. I think O'Neill has really taken to this guy. He still doesn't know his name. He's never made any attempt to pronounce his name. He's just the wee guy. And the way he talks about him, though, you know that he absolutely loves him. He absolutely loves his enthusiasm. McGregor, Engel, Satati. I think Thursday night it'd be very hard to split those 3 up. But then given the effort that was exuded on Thursday night, I thought there might be a few changes, but he's gone with Yang, McCann and Maida again. And I think it's just Martin just being true to the guys that got the job done on Thursday night. Bit of a come down for Tanetke. I mean, he's been the shining light. He's been the main guy. He's been the go-to man so far this season. Now Yang's playing in front of him. And Luke McCann obviously playing in an unfamiliar position. Phil, what was your thoughts when you seen that lineup appear just about an hour and 15 minutes before the game?
Kind of same as you. You felt after, Thursday night, a lot of energy expended because that was a huge performance we had to put in to get that done. You thought maybe there would be a wee bit of rotation. Sriracha coming in didn't surprise me too much. Obviously, he's back in training. Tierney, we know the fitness issues with him at the moment, so it made sense in the end. That was the only change. Could have been a bit more. I think maybe Reegan could have came in, but I said to Liam on Friday night, I thought Engels put in a good shift. Hitati had a good game on Thursday night, which going into Thursday night, I looked at that midfield 3, and there's been a few times that's been used this season and it's not really clicked, but that's Thursday night they did really well, and it made sense that they kept their place. McCown starting out wide, interesting. You're talking about Tanekte with Yang playing in front of him. Don't worry about the other wingers in the team, like say Balakisha. I know he's like left side and he's played on the right sometimes and whatnot, but he can't even get a sniff right now at all. He's totally out of the picture. We're now playing a centre midfielder in a wide position. And to be fair, McCown's not been the worst out there. I think early in his career, he'd been deployed there. I'm sure Liam had highlighted that before, saying early on in his career he's played there. So he doesn't look too out of place, to be fair. But it does highlight as well that when this January window rolls around, there's still quite a few glaring holes in the team in terms of positions that need filled, because the squad depth is really hanging on right now. We are And I keep using this term, we're being held together by sticky tape right now at times with the amount of injuries we've got and just having to put square pegs and round holes and whatnot. But it worked anyway, 2 games in a row now. And hopefully just want me to continue.
But Phil, let's just take it back a step there. The summer transfer window and the criticism that the board have come in for that window. But the one shining light was Sebastian Tinecki. But right now, at this point in time, as of Thursday night, he's now not even in the starting 11. So you've your £10 million that was spent on deadline day for Balikwisha, who has done, to use the Scottish term, hee-haw since he came in. Absolutely, the square root of hee-haw, to be honest.
Yep.
And then you've got Tinecki, who has blown hot and cold, but he's been the one. He's been the guy who's been carrying the ball, trying to create that spark. Now he's out of the team, and we're back with Yang, who was more than halfway down the motorway to Birmingham on the same deadline day. That just draws it just draws a real what am I looking for? It just shines a light on that transfer window and how calamitous it was that the guys that we did eventually spend the money on deadline day after we were knocked out of the Champions League are now not even influencing the last couple of games that we've played. And Balikwisha, now I won't write him off because I made a mistake and I wrote Nicholas Kuhn off. And on that basis, I ain't going to write Balikwisha off. I think you have to appreciate these are young guys. I think it may well be the first time he's moved away from home. It might take him 6 months. And do you know what? If that's the case, that's fine. Tinecki came in, hit the ground running, but all of a sudden he's kind of ground to a halt a little bit. And now we're back with Yang, who, let's not forget, he was nobody's cup of tea either.
No,
do you know what I mean? Not. It's very, very worrying. And as much as we're in a good space now, and we've caught hearts, we've given ourselves a chance in the Europa League, and we're in the final of the League Cup. Things are so good. Martin O'Neill couldn't have done much more. He genuinely couldn't. And again, I say Martin O'Neill, I mean Martin O'Neill, Sean, Fozzie, McManus, everybody. I mean that group. And I genuinely mean that because I think Martin's the guy that stands there in front of the camera and cracks the jokes. I think those other guys have been working like mad behind the scenes. And I hope there's roles for them in the new setup. But see if that trigger hadn't been pulled on Brendan Rodgers that night, and I don't believe he pulled the trigger on himself. He may have done technically, but if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't even be where we're at right now. We wouldn't be. I genuinely, as much as you criticise and it looks like it's a Desmond production again, bringing in Martin O'Neill. I'm pretty sure the guys on the board, the guys that are actually getting paid to do the job of directing Celtic, I'm pretty sure none of them would even have considered bringing in Martin O'Neill. I think that's a Desmond job. And as much as he's been so criticised in the last 4 or 5 weeks, that's turned out to be a masterstroke. Now, I still don't think it's fair on Martin because of his age and everything else. But it's worked. And eventually, whether it's tomorrow, Thursday, in 2 weeks' time, somewhere along the line, Wilfred Nancy is going to come in when the paperwork gets all done. I mean, Sky were right on point. They just basically said to Martin, Wilfred Nancy, is it Wilfred Nancy and is it just paperwork? Pretty much that was the question. And he said yes. But circling back round in a Billy Connolly type style to my original point, the guys that we did bring in, the guys that we did spend money on in this window, they're now sitting on the bench watching Yang and Luke McCowan playing out of position when we need them on the pitch, getting the job done.
Aye, so you spend plenty of money on them on deadline day, but Tinecki, issue with him, it's quite simply end product. Yeah, he takes on his man, but his delivery has not been great, and a lot of teams have sussed it pretty quickly. put 2-3 men out that side whenever he's on the ball. He can beat maybe one, but then, seems to run into trouble if he's doubled up on or tripled up on. So I just think with Tinecti, he's just fizzled out. The first 2 games against Kelly, I think the Kelly one, when he made his debut, I think we were just so bereft of quality at that point, just that he was that little bit different. Because even at that, that was still quite early in the season. That was the first game after the first international break. So it was the first game after the window had closed. And we were already quite scunnered anyway, having the games with Kairat and the absolutely abysmal 0-0 draw with Rangers. And we could see already the way the team was starting to play. Well, at the side was passing, he was just different. So he just stood out like a sore thumb. And I think a lot of us just jumped the gun that, this guy's great. He's obviously got something there, but end product is something that was highlighted by, what was it, Hammarby was the team he played for in Sweden before he came to us. That was the Sweden, yeah. Before he joined us, obviously a lot of our podcasts to get like fans on of that team, Hammarby, to come on and give their opinions. And a lot of them did say that he's a skillful player, but lacks a bit of end product. And I think that's playing out right in front of our eyes. Now, hopefully, and again, I'm not going to totally write him off because a new manager could come in and get a spark out of him, essentially. So there's still early days with him. There is something there. We've definitely seen more from him than we have Balakisha up to now. But I'm the same as you. With Balakisha, he's still a young guy, moving away from, he's played in Belgium his whole career. It could just be a case it's just a settle in piece. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until there is a new manager. But it does speak volumes. It does draw a line under the recruitment. Remember, Tinecti's name was one that came up sort of a few weeks out from the end of the window. Then it went quiet, and then we failed to get in Dahlberg, and there was another winger that we were chasing that was a priority, and that name fizzled out. And then it was like Tinecti was like the third or fourth one, and it was almost like because we dropped to the Champions League and Celtic were just scrambling to do something on deadline day, and they paid the 5 million for him. So there is a bit of a panic element to it as well, but he's showing he's got something there. But right now, he's out of form. It's something that I've heard Anthony Haggerty say on other podcasts about the Tour de France mentality, the yellow jersey. Yang has came in. He's put in a couple of good performances. I agree with you. He's definitely not my cup of tea. I've said it plenty of times. But hey, I'm happy to have egg on my face if he's putting in good performances. We did Thursday night, and I thought he was good today as well. So it's his jersey to lose right now.
Well, Phil, I'm not being wise after the event and all that. I remember myself and Russell falling out show after show after show where I was giving Yang credit and I thought I seen something there.
Yeah.
And Boise just stood firm as he does. He doubled down and he says, nah. And after week after week after week after month, I just said, do you know what? I think you might be right, Boise. but I mean, is there an argument now? I mean, people think just because Maida and Yang were virtually out the door on deadline day that they'll both go. As I said during the week there, I'm not convinced Maida goes in January because the landscape's changed and there's a World Cup on the horizon. You don't know if the teams that were interested in him, if they're still interested, because if it's a data job, the goals and assists that he had on last year's data, they're not going to be there. Now, we seen on Thursday night, Maida gets a goal just from his pressing, and today he also gets a goal because of his pressing. But it's not a given for me that Yang and Maida are straight out the door, and there definitely is a player in Yang. If someone can just get a bit of consistency out of him, he's not a bust flush. He definitely isn't. But so many times we've seen him come in, he's done something. We then get on the Yang bus, and then when you back him, all of a sudden he just throws in a few poor ones. But let's tiptoe through the game, Phil. I felt first 5 minutes Hibs opened up like a team that had a free week. No, they didn't have a free week, actually. They played during the week, but they did open up like a team that had a free week.
They had a few days on. I think they played Tuesday night, didn't they? They played on Tuesday against Motherwell.
Yeah, they did, and they were beat. They opened up better. I thought they were better in the first 5 or 6 minutes. Then there's a chance for Luke McKayan. It's the first time we've really ventured into Hibs half. I think he could have done better. I think he's chickened out a wee bit. I think he if he was going full throttle like that, he did get in front of the keeper, I thought he would have got there a second earlier, and that would have made it a real chance.
It's the expression we've used loads of times. Doesn't have the courage of his convictions because Maeda is offside, but he comes back because he knows I'm off, so he's interfering with play. He decides to just basically pull out of the attack. Luke McCown carries on through, but yeah, I don't know if maybe he's just been too aware or just been thinking too much about, the flag might go up here, and he's just slowed down a little bit because he could have got to that. And the thing is, in this day and age, said it plenty of times, said it on Thursday night, we talked about the Luke McCown miss. It's like, see if you put it in the net in this VAR day and age, it's going to get checked anyway. You might then find, it was actually on all along. So yeah, there was a wee element there where first time we've pinged it over the top, and yeah, just a wee extra yard. And I think, yeah, he's in, no problem. But yeah, it was an early sign because you're right, Hibs did start pretty well. They obviously had a very good chance as well with Martin Boyle. One is, of course, my heart was on my mouth, to be fair, because obviously he's been tackled at the same time. It was Sriracha, wasn't it, that went in with him at the same time, and it was there is that heart in the mouth moment, like, has he clipped him here? Because you would expect that would be, obviously they've looked at it, they've reviewed it, and there was nothing in it. But not that they had their dangerous moments, but in terms of saying the McCown chance, just a wee bit more, it's a bit more conviction in it. And that could have been the opening goal today.
Well, Phil, just 60 seconds before that Martin Boyle chance, and yes, it was a real chance. And I always worry about Martin Boyle. I always think he's dangerous, and I always think he's one that I could have seen in a Celtic jersey, albeit he's probably now that ship has sailed. He's at the wrong stage of his career. But just 60 seconds before that, Dyson Maeda actually gives Celtic the lead, albeit it gets chalked off for offside. But I think the important thing is that goal was a replica of the one that we then got a little bit later. So Yang's offside. To be fair, he has to time his run better. He had a lot of margin for error there, and he goes in, and it's so easy and straightforward. You kind of know the flag's going to go up, and it does. And he was rightly offside. He was offside maybe a yard, maybe 2 yards. Yeah. But that was a precursor to the goal that we get just after the 25th minute. Hibs are dicking about at the back. They obviously haven't watched us on Thursday night. Defender, keeper messing about. This time it's their goalkeeper dicking about. He plays a ball towards the middle of the park. I'm going to use the phrase they used on Thursday night. Rio Hatate pounces on the ball.
Pounces,
wins it. Squares to Dyson Maeda, and this time there's no offside flag. This time it's a goal. Celtic are ahead without doing an awful lot in the game, to be honest.
Definitely, roles were reversed from Thursday night because it was Maeda that pressured the keeper into the mistake on Thursday, and it was Hatate that got the goal. And today, the keeper's made a mistake, and Hatate's put the pressure on the midfielder, won the ball, and he's put it on a plate for Dyson Maeda. So that was a nice wee bit of symmetry there. But no, it was, as you say, they've kind of self-inflicted there. It was like the type of goal that we would lose on a European night because we always seem to shoot ourselves in the foot in some way. But yeah, when it comes to playing out for the back, I know my dad hates it so much. Like, see if I'm watching a game with him, like he can't stick the whole teams playing out for the back, and it's like this is modern football. This is what every team wants to do, and you've got to be good at it. You've got to be good at it. You've got to be brave to do it as well. And the goalkeeper's just made completely the wrong choice. The midfielder that he's played it to, I'm not sure which Hibs midfielder it was, but obviously he's not been aware as well of Hatate there. But the keeper can see that in his line of sight. The keeper can see Hatate lurking quite close behind, so it's a big risk he's taking, playing it to the Hibs player with his back to Hatate. He's obviously took a bad touch. Hatate's homed in on it, and yeah, totally unselfish, just passes it to the side, and yeah, Maeda, no problem, easiest goal, he'll probably score in a Celtic shirt, and it keeps up his good record, I know, against Hibs. I think I said that on Friday night, his the best team that he's got against is Hibs. His record against them is second to none. The very first game he played for us, he scored against Hibs on his debut as well. And today, I think they said on the commentary, it was his 150th appearance for Celtic. So from his first game against Hibs and his 150th game now, and he scored against Hibs as well. But he's got a good record against them, and that's probably the easiest one he'll get against them. Just
going by the comments there, old Benzo, the Baniac, is having the day of his life at Ibrox. He didn't play very much for us, but let's hope he learned a few things and he can keep things going for the next 25 minutes or so. Phil, we've done something that normally happens to Celtic in Europe.
Yeah.
We turned around and scored a second goal very much straight after the first one. And this time it was a header from Arne Engels. I thought he was extremely brave. A lot of questions asked of this guy because of the fee. Obviously, because of the fee. He didn't set the fee. But with that amount of money, you're expecting a player of a certain quality. Now, I think he has qualities. I don't think they're the same qualities as the guy that we felt he was replacing in Matt O'Reilly in terms of goals and playmaking ability and silky skill on the ball. I think Arne Engels' skill set is his athleticism, his physique, his ability to get up and down, all of that kind of stuff, which if we had a better team and we're playing at a higher level, I think that skill set would become more apparent. But we're not just in that space yet. Let's hope we're on the road to get there. But I thought he was extremely brave. I think it was a very, very high quality header. I think if you watch it slow enough, I think it's a little bit behind him, which also makes it very, very difficult because you've got to generate a lot of the power yourself. Yang's got the cross, so there's a slight deflection on it, but credit to Yang. Swashbuckling run forward from the wee guy at left back. Excellent goal. Really, really good goal. And fair play to Arne Engels. He took one for the team. Brilliant. You're 2-0 up then in less than half an hour, and a great moment for us.
Yeah, without doubt. The thing is with Engels, there's a lot of things we all want to see Engels add more to his game because I believe the youngsters were calling him Pengels because all he scored was penalties. Yeah. That was his nickname, it seemed. But no, he he just threw himself in there. It was a brave header because he takes one right in the face as well. And it's like, typical. He goes finally scores a goal in open play and cops a knee right in the face for his troubles. I was worried that his game was going to be over after that, to be fair, because he looked in pretty bad pain, to be fair, the way he was rolling about in the ground. But in the end, it was just a wee bit of tissue he got in his nose. But no, he's brave to go in there. Could the keeper have done a wee bit better? Possibly. I mean, it's right down the middle at him, but I think just because it came at him just so quickly, he just not reacted to it well. And you're totally right. Again, talk about the symmetry of Celtic in Europe. 2 goals in quick succession. We saw it just the other week against Midtjylland, where we've been sucker punched, and we've obviously taken advantage of that. And at that point, we've been all worried about going to Easter Road, the difficulty there, the horrible record we've got at Easter Road in recent seasons. 2-0 up, you're thinking, okay, this could be whatever I want. I think on Friday night when I asked Liam what his score prediction was, he was very confident of a resounding 5-0 victory. But at that stage, after a wee bit of a slow start, 2-0 up without really having to break a sweat, and you're like, this could go that way. But incredibly, and this stat came up during the second half. That was the last shot we had on target for, I think, the rest of the game. I think I heard Ian Crocker say that, and I was like, oh, well, we kind of just invited the pressure onto ourselves after that one. But in terms of the whole goal, just to cap it off, Sriracha, the wee fella, brilliant run. And Yang does well getting the cross in, and just a great header from him. It was good to see him making those types of runs into the box. And I feel like I've been here before. I think we've all been here before with Engels. It's like, right, he had a good game on Thursday night. He's had a pretty good performance today, and he scored a goal. We just need to see the consistency. You just need to push on from this. But it just feels like he takes a step forward and then it's 2 steps back with him. But come on, this is hopefully a new lease of life, and we start to see this on a regular basis from Arne Engels.
Well, Phil, what I think about Engels is, see if you watch a good team playing, and we're not quite there yet. We're hopeful. We're hopeful that we'll get there. But see if you watch a really, really good team playing, and there's a guy in the midfield, and what he does is he gets the ball and he recycles it and he breaks up possession, and he's just like a magnet to the ball, and he doesn't do an awful lot with it, but he anticipates what the opposition are going to do. He breaks up play, he gets on it, and he recycles it and gives it to the better players. I actually think that might be what Arne Engels is brilliant at. But because of where we're at as a team, and because of the way teams set up against us, I don't think that skill set really lends itself to Scottish football. I might be totally wrong, and I might be making a case that shouldn't be made, but I just think that he's probably that guy that in a really, really good team, he would look like a really, really good player. And I've always said from day one, we will sell him and we will make a profit on him. And I don't care. I don't care how many performances he has where critics say that, you know, he's terrible, he's wasting money. We will make a profit on him. I'm pretty certain of that. But I just think that's probably what his skill set is: breaking up the play, getting up and down, recycling the ball, keeping the whole thing moving. And we're just not exactly in that space where a player like that will shine for us. But we may get to that point. But very, very well done to him today for getting that one. We nearly killed the game, Phil, just before half-time. The wee guy at left back, he made another marauding run. Beautiful flick from Dyson Maida, and Sriracha hits the post. It's one of those ones that hits the post, which obviously means it was close, but you never thought it was actually going in. It looked as if it was going wide.
He hasn't scored a goal for us yet, has he? Am I right in saying he's not scored? He's had a few assists, but he's not got a goal. Yeah, when it did hit the post, I was going through my head, has he scored yet? But no, he was unlucky there. It's a good run. He's picked it well, and yeah, just a win for a post, really. I saw it's come down to just the wrong side of it. But yeah, you're right. If that goes in, then we're cruising on easy street for the rest of the second half, and it could have been even more after that. But you know, the differences and, you know, what goals can make to a game. They always talk about when it's a 2-0 lead, it's a dangerous lead, and next goal is crucial. And we found that out in the second half. But if we get that third one there, then yeah, we're sitting here talking about a resounding, could have been whatever, 4-0, 5-0 easily today. But yeah, going at half time, Hibs have got a wee bit of encouragement, like, okay, that could have been a lot worse, and they've went in. It's obviously changed their approach for the second half, and yeah, as I say, we saw exactly how that went. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, we obviously got the win in the end, but it was a bit reminiscent to watch the St Mirren game a week ago at times in the second half.
Ian, you've just got to be quicker, mate. We're obviously on the same wavelength. You and me have got superb football brains. You've just got to be a wee bit quicker there. Phil, substitution at half-time, Ralston on for Donovan. Haven't heard anything if there was any knock or anything like that. Do you think it was maybe just Martin trying to go for the experience a wee bit more with Anthony Ralston?
Possibly. I mean, Donovan's been subbed off a couple of times at half-time. He only was subbed off under Brendan in a game at half-time. Half-time subs are always a weird one, especially if it isn't a knock. I think my dad did say to me, though, I know he got a booking. I know he get booked in the first half, but did he take a knock or anything? Do you remember any significant?
No, I don't remember a knock or anything. No, I thought he was a wee bit erratic. And he was on a card. So
yeah, Loopy said that he was on a card, and John Coyle says Donovan was awful. Yeah. But yeah, Ralston came on and. Yeah, I mean, Ralston just Tony Ralston. There was a few moments, few bad passes. There was one where he literally just passed it right out the park. He went to pass it down the line, back the way, I think, and ended up putting it right out for a throw-in. Anyway, he did take a knock. But yeah, I still think there's something good to come from Donovan in terms of, like, if he gets developed correctly. I think it's one that we shouldn't just give up on. I think too many youngsters that do get a little taste of first-team football, they fade away. But I think I've seen enough from Donovan in the games, and amazingly, probably the two best performances he's had have been on the European stage, because he was brilliant away in Belgrade and he was good the other night in Rotterdam. So it's like, I think if this guy gets the right amount of game time and development, then yeah, I think he can be a good talent. But obviously, he's still very, very young at this point. But yeah, Ralston came on, so we're literally at the point where, you know, that's our options. Although he did play Jemai Simpson-Pusey as a right back not too long ago, and he wasn't terrible there, but he's faded into the abyss again.
I don't understand. I just don't get it, Phil.
I don't get it neither.
I've probably been the one. I expected so much of this guy. See, when he came up from City, I've been championing that. I thought this guy would go straight in at centre back and be a first choice. I really, really did. But I'm starting to think, as much as the day that he came in, he was fine in an unfamiliar position. But I thought it was initially I thought it was just that stubborn Rodgers thing where I didn't ask for him, I ain't playing him. But Martin hasn't. He's brought him in once, but apart from that, he's been nowhere. So let's see how that one plays out. See the thing with Donovan, as much as me, I've championed his performances. I've talked about how good he is, how promising he is. I think you have to say as well, every single game there has been at least one mistake. But because he's a young player coming through, because he's filling in, because he was somebody who was meant to go out on loan and he's now filling the hole, I think sensible people, you have that expectancy that he is going to make mistakes. And as long as it's only one or two every game, then as long as they don't end up in crucial goals, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Let's move on to probably the big talking point of the match then. On 52 minutes. Hibs fire the ball into the box. Liam Scales goes to clear it with his head. For me, he heads it and he hands it at the same time. I'll let you go first and then I'll give you my view on it. What's your view?
Okay, so one thing that I would like to see more of when we're getting these replays is to see it in real time, because I think when things are slowed down, it looks a lot worse, because the ball comes in and he goes to header it. So naturally he leans forward, and as he does, his arm comes out like that because it hits him about here. But the way it's done on the replay that we keep getting shown on the television, the TV audience, is because it's in slow motion. It makes it look like his arm is out like that for a long time. What you'll probably find is it's probably just been a quick reaction, but in slow motion, it makes it look a lot worse than what it actually is. Does it hit his arm? Well, yeah, it does. I say it hits him about here. Does he know anything about it? Is this a natural? Chris Sutton on commentary saying his arm's by his side. Well, his arm would be here, but it was out like that. But I say it was like, if you see it in real time, it's probably just flicked out like that because of the way he's moved to the ball. But again, with the slow motion, it to me makes it look a lot worse than it is. I don't know what he can really do. I really don't know what he can. It's came through a crowd of players. I think Scales even said that at the end. Said that, he's went for the header. It came in for the corner. There's some players in front of him. He's leaned down a bit. He's obviously misjudged the header because it's kind of skimmed off his head or zipped past him, and yes, it's him there. And I don't know, it's the handball. I can understand why it's given because I'm just used to the way Scottish referees and just the handball rule seems to be such a murky one. And would we be shouting for it at the other end if a Hibs player had done that? If Rocky Bashiri had done that exact same thing, would we be shouting for it? We probably would if we saw the replays. So again, I don't really think. I think it's harsh to penalise him, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that it was given just because of the way the referees interpret the handball rule up here, because I've given up trying to figure it out now as well.
Okay, let's look at the guys in the chat are saying. So we've got Chrism, Scottish officiating is a disgrace. We have got Plunge, the penalty was scandalous. Chill Pill, never a penalty. You see him trying to head the ball and it hits him above the sleeve line. Who else have we got? Let's see. We've got an alternative view there from John Coyle. For me, it was a pen.
There's another one saying it was a pen from Squid Punk saying we should be debating this. It was a handball all day.
Okay, so I'll give you my view. So I've got my Celtic support review, which initially you just go, nah, that's not a pen. That's really harsh. And then you listen to Chris Sutton, who said he felt it was an awful decision. I've watched it a few times. I'm going to give you my authentic view, Phil, because that is what you pay me the big bucks for.
Indeed.
I think the handball from Liam Scales in the modern game with VAR, with the rules, that's a penalty kick, and I want that given all day long if that happens at the other end. I think he's unfortunate. I think he goes to head it. Chris Sutton said his arm was by his side. I don't think it was by his side. I think it was out. Now, my mind immediately jumps to one from last weekend, which was a lot worse than this one. And I think that's the problem we have. is today that's a penalty, but last week, today's is the arm. The arm was out slightly, and the head was also involved. So there's a bit of a conversation to be had about today's. I still think in the spirit of the game right now, as it stands with the rules, I think today's is a penalty. On the Scales incident, I'm going to come back to that because I don't think it's a penalty. I'll sort that out. But compared to last week's was an absolute stonewaller in a game that wasn't involving us. But listen, by the by, I'll tell you why today's wasn't a penalty. And if anybody watches it back, watch the view that Nick Walsh was given on VAR. Forget about Scales. Look a couple of feet in front of you and look at the amount of Arnie Engels' shirt that the St Mirren attacker has. Watch it. Just watch it back, and look how much of Arnie Engels' shirt, the guys that are just in front of the ball that Liam Scales in his post-match talked about, the ball came through a crowd of players. It came through a crowd where there were two players, Arnie Engels and the Kilmarnock attacker, and you watch how much of Arnie Engels' shirt that Kilmarnock attacker has, and that's why that's not a penalty kick. That's why it's not a penalty kick. But Nick Walsh has been brought over, and he's only looked at Liam Scales. If he just opened his eyes and looked a few feet in front, it's not a penalty because of the foul on Arnie Engels. That's my take on it. If you look at the Scales incident alone, I was annoyed at the time. I was cursing and swearing all sorts at the TV. When I look at that back, I expect a penalty for that. But when you look at the amount of the shirt and the incident just in front, that's why it shouldn't have been a penalty for me, because that incident happens before Liam Scales handles the ball. That's my take on it. I knew he was going to be called over. I knew he was going to give it. And
as soon as they go to the screen, Terry, it's usually a death sentence that it's getting given. There's very rare. It does happen, but it is a very rare instance where a referee will go to the screen, come back and say, no, I'm going to stick with what I've given there. But
there's one other given, Phil. That's one of the biggest givens in football. When the guy gets called over, it's going to be overturned. But the biggest given ever is that once the penalty's given, Kasper Schmeichel ain't fucking saving it.
He didn't even dive this time, not even an attempt.
Right, I could be wrong here, but I think we've been involved in quite a few penalty shootouts with Kasper Schmeichel in goal, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't got within 6 feet of any ball that has been shot at him in any shootout. I might be wrong. I don't know.
The only one he saved was in the cup final against Rangers. Rizvan, remember the Turkish left back they had?
It must have hit.
He was the only one that missed a penalty that day. The penalty shootout against Rangers in the cup final last year. But yeah, we lost to obviously Aberdeen and then Kairat. But yeah, he didn't save any against Aberdeen and didn't. No, he did save one against. No, the Kairat boy hit the crossbar. He tried to Panenka it with his first penalty. That was the only one that hit the crossbar. Aye. But no, he did save one. He did actually save one. But any penalties we've conceded...
It must have hit him in the arse.
Any penalties we've conceded in an actual game, I don't think Schmeichel's actually saved any, to be fair. I don't think we've actually...
I'm thinking him, Joe Hart, Craig Gordon... struggle to see any of them saving any of these penalties.
Joe Hart definitely didn't save any that we got awarded against us in a game. Craig Gordon saved one, and it was vital because it was Hapwell Beersheva. Remember that horrible night? We lost 2-0 on the night, but it was like 5-4 on aggregate, and had they scored that and beat us 3-0, they would have stopped us qualified Champions League. He's actually saved one that night. That's the only one I can remember, that one. But yeah, Big Foster and Artur Boric, they were always good for a penalty save, but all the other goalies that came around them, less so.
Guys, we're 125 deep here. Just give us a like, give us a subscribe. What we see in the background is that about half of the people that watch live have subscribed and about half hasn't. It doesn't cost you anything. Just give us that wee like, and that will help us on the way to the numbers. I'm just going to pause the match review. Kasper had a good game today. Kasper was brilliant. I am going to just say at this point that, because I've been a critic, actually, and I have brought up things like this to describe Kasper Schmeichel at various points this season.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he pulled out saves at key moments today. Yes, he was nowhere near the penalty. Yes, he didn't bother his arse even trying to save it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. There were a couple of saves late in the game where he pulled them out. There was one just 5 minutes before the end. You were just waiting for the net to bulge. And there was one before that where there was two chances within a minute. And the first one ended up with an offside flag. But Kasper Schmeichel didn't know the offside flag was going to be given. Correct. And when you see the replay, I'm not convinced VAR wouldn't have overturned it. It was a tight one. It flicked it up for a second. And when you look at it very quick, it was tight. Wonderful save. And he follows it up again later when it's one of those ones where the ball breaks round about the edge of the 18 and the guy's coming in to bang it and you're just waiting for the net to bulge. And thankfully, we had the right man in the right place at the right time. And I think you have to hand it to him. Kasper Schmeichel had an excellent game today.
I certainly did. The offside one, it goes back to what I've been talking about earlier on, saying in this day and age with the VAR stuff, you've just got to put it in the net because the replays might end up proving that you were onside and all counts. So goalkeeper doesn't know any better. He's got to pull a great save, and he does. And then another one for Chris Cadden. I mean, he's just coming onto his right-hand side. He runs onto it, and Kasper Schmeichel does what his dad was really good at, making himself big. It must run in the Schmeichel family, just the way, he just can intimidate a forward just by, spreading himself, essentially, making it hard for the player to find the target. And he's pulled off a blinding save there. Because we were toiling in the second half. We really were. Of course, I think Martin O'Neill said that after the game. It could also be down to the fact they've expended a lot of energy on Thursday night, and they did. There's no denying that at all. We had to put in a hell of a shift to get the result in Rotterdam, and it might have just caught up with us. So today, though, it was just a case of just grind it out. It's going to be ugly at times. And yeah, we've done it. We've managed to get through it. It was a game that just had a banana skin all over it, really, when you looked at the fixture list, the way it was coming, and with the Hearts game round the corner, but you've got a trip to Easter Road before that. It's like, God, this one's got the potential to put us back a step here. But no, they've managed to see it out. Yeah, there was no shots in the second half. We kind of lacked any sort of real quality in the final third. Something that has happened a lot this season. Even before Martin O'Neill came in, there was a lot of issues with just the final third. We just seemed to lack anything. But no, we dug our heels in and managed to see it out. And yeah, at the end of the day, back up the road now with 3 points, Terry, and ahead of a huge week now, because this time next week, we'll be playing Hearts at Celtic Park.
I'm just going to bring this comment up. That's lovely.
Oh, there you go.
Terry is a legend from the Glasgow Girls. There you go. Glasgow Girls.
You're a legend, Terry, mate.
Happy days. Right. What was I going to say? I know it's still 0-0 at Ibrox with a few minutes.
A lot of people in the chat are getting very excited and saying, come on, Falkirk, come on, the Bairns and all that. But I don't know if it's full time yet.
No, it's not full time, Phil. It's in stoppage time. So there's time for Rangers to get 2 or 3 penalties and a Falkirk man to get sent off.
No, of course.
Where was it going to go? So we had the Schmeichel saves. Tanecki came on for Yang, the lesser spotted Bernardo came on, Tierney came on for Sirachi, Negri came on for Kukayan. I know, Phil, we've talked about the squad depth being poor and stuff, but when you've got Negri coming on and you've got Tierney coming on, you've got Paulo Bernardo coming on, it's not too bad. There's there's an opportunity there to build a squad. We're it's different when we come on here and we win. And other times we would, if the game hadn't gone our way, we'd come on and go, oh, we didn't have much on the bench. But when you've got those kind of guys coming on, I mean, for me, Negrin and Tierney are starters for Celtic. And they're your guys that are coming on. So I think that's good. Bernardo, it remains to be seen. The thing about it is, Phil, Rodgers had his group of players. It's the same group of players, obviously, but there were the ones that made an impression on him and the ones that he selected and the ones that he decided not to select. And you can divvy that up, whether it's the ones that were brought in that he didn't want to bring in or vice versa, or all that pish. But at the end of the day, the squad of players is still a squad of players. And we're still in a position now where we've got 1 full month before we can bring anybody else in. Those players had to impress Brendan Rodgers. Some of them did, some of them didn't. Then they've had to impress Martin O'Neill. Some of them clearly have, and some of them didn't. Mm-hmm. Now, within a matter of days, if the Department for Work and Pensions can sort out a visa for and a work permit for Wilfred Nancy, and here's the thing: at this stage, maybe we hope that there's a Jim Farry working for the Department for Work and Pensions, and that the work permit doesn't get approved maybe for another week. Because do you really want the new manager coming in with Hearts for his first game? I'm going to go out on a limb. And say Martin will still be in charge next Sunday, because I think the plan was for Martin to be in charge against Dundee. Sorry, Martin to be gone and Nancy to be in for Dundee. Mm-hmm. And I'm Nancy today instead of Nancy. It's just the way I'm feeling. I would rather Martin took Sunday as well. I'd be keen to see what the guys in the comments think about that. I'd be keen for Martin to go right through. But then you're into a cup final, aren't you? After that,
it's cup final, Roma, then the cup final. Yeah, another big week right after that.
Is it Roma in the cup final?
Roma then the cup final. Yep.
See, let's see how it plays out. But well. Let me get your thoughts on it. My thoughts are, if Martin's going to be in charge against Dundee, I would prefer that Martin then stays and does Sunday. And I know there was I think it was David Logue put it in the chat that Wilfred Nancy was at the Feyenoord game. I hadn't seen that anywhere else.
I haven't seen anyone else report that. And I say, if you'd imagine he would have got pictured by somebody, sat, because he's going to be sat in the executive seats in the stadium in Rotterdam. Surely he would have been spotted. But I've not seen anything that backs that up. But I don't know. Maybe David knows something. In the Logue, as we used to say.
Well,
maybe he is. Maybe he knows.
Wilfred Nancy's probably been in and had his hair cut at the Hard Barber already this week. Phil, you'll not believe this. We're now into the 144th minute of added time.
It's full time. It's full time. The chat is telling us goalless draw. 0-0.
Very good. That'll be Danny Roll gone during the week then, and they'll be looking for Stevie J again. Let's see what the boys are saying about. Do you think the Nancy delay or no? Again, I've been preoccupied today, so I didn't get the pre-match. I've just gone through messages and stuff. I turned my phone off because I was trying to avoid the result, but just catching up very briefly. I think it's technicalities in terms of work permit and all that kind of thing. I think that's what's holding it up. There might still be a debate over backroom staff. Who's he bringing in? Who's he not? Do Celtic want Fozzie and Maloney to be involved? I personally would like them to be involved. As I say, Martin's getting all the plaudits. I think, I know everybody laughs. Like when I say Fozzie, you start laughing, Phil. But
I love the nickname. I think it's class. That's all. I'm just laughing at that.
We're laughing because he's portrayed as this kind of joke figure. Sometimes you just need somebody around the club that has a bit of a free spirit and fucking brings a bit of good feeling, because if the chips are down and you're going through a bad time, you want somebody that makes you laugh and feel better. And again, I've not seen very much of him, but he just seems to be this larger than life character. Mm-hmm. And you need that in every single team. So if there's a role for Fozzie, absolutely fucking bring it on. Who else here? Martin O'Neill.
Don't fix it.
Martin O'Neill should get 60,000 chance. I think it's good. I think that is a good point there from the Slabber and Cabbage. I think for Martin to get a send-off, and I really, really think he has done everything to deserve a send-off, other than that Michelin game, which was one half of bad football. You think about this, Phil, the position he's gone into. Now, I know we've got players that are meant to be better than all the other players for all the other teams in the league, but that's not what was happening. Hearts were way out. Hibs were going well. Motherwell were going well. Everybody was doing their own thing, and Celtic were struggling. And this wee guy has gone back to the future, 25 years into the past, and he has dragged us, kicking and screaming, into the League Cup final, having beat our biggest rivals very comfortably, despite the fact it went to extra time. He has dragged us back into a Europa League phase that we were a dead duck in. And he has, if we get the points in the game in hand, he has wiped out an approximate 10-point league lead that Hearts had in the league. I think that is very much worth a 60,000 crowd cheering him off into the sunset and singing Martin O'Neill, Martin O'Neill, Martin O'Neill.
It definitely is. There's a lot to unpack in this one. I've been saying
First one, does he stay to Sunday? Do you keep him for Sunday if he's there on Wednesday? I do.
Yes, I do. I think right now, with the way things are, I thought when they were debating it on the game today, it was McFadden was on with Boyd and Michael O'Neill, and James McFadden was talking about Celtic in a good run of form right now, and there's a lot of big fixtures coming up here, and it's a lot to ask Wilfred Nancy to come in, and he's going to have his own ideas and how he wants to play, and there's no transfer window open to bring any new faces in right off the bat. Right now, things are working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And how many times have I sat on this podcast for the last month and said, it's going to be those two at the end of the season. It's going to be Martin O'Neill with Sean Maloney at the end of the season. And it keeps rolling over and rolling over. When you think, okay, the Wilfred Nancy deal was all but done. This is what's going to happen. Something keeps happening to push it back. And I just feel like this could go on. Now, I saw a few suggestions now saying, maybe it'll be January the 1st that Wilfred Nancy starts. And it's like, that's not much good because we play Rangers on January the 3rd. You're not giving him much time because if he comes into that, again, how can you get...
But Phil, if you're going to bring him in, you would like him to be playing against one of the also-rans in this first game.
Aye, exactly. So January 1st wouldn't work. Plus, if we came in and lost on that game in January the 3rd, it's like you're off to the worst possible start. So this
no. I'm saying that's maybe one of the best games.
Maybe they are one of the also rans, to be fair. Yes, they are, I suppose. In the current state, they are 7 points, I believe, now as a gap. But I just don't know. I mean, I kept saying it until the club proves me otherwise. I'll keep on believing it's going to be O'Neill and Maloney at the end of the season. And just the way things are falling, I'm just like, surely not. Surely this isn't going to happen. I've loved what Martin O'Neill's done. It's been fantastic. He's came in. He's got an absolute massive tune out of this team right now that were just dead on their arse under Brendan Rodgers. There was just no camaraderie or nothing. So he's changed everything in terms of just the general buzz around the team. I liked today as well that O'Neill did say after the game, just it's him being modest, but it's Martin O'Neill being Martin O'Neill. But he said, I should be really the one in the back. I talk about my backroom team, but they're the ones that are doing all the work. And you know what? I firmly believe that. He's bigging up Maloney and Fozzie and McManus for the work they're doing.
I think he's right to do so.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. They are working hard. Because you said, obviously, we had that tongue in cheek at the start of the show, how he just refers to some players as the wee fella and all that, like Sirachi. He did the same with Callum Osmond as well after the semi-final.
Like Boise used to refer to the wee fella.
The wee fella, aye. But yeah, it's I'd say O'Neill, I think he'll be here. I think he'll still be here for the Hearts game as well. I just feel this is going to roll on. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a terrible bad thing. I'm just thinking about the long term. My concern has always been the way the club perform when it comes to they want a quick and easy appointment. They want a guy that won't challenge them. But I just feel like that's always the mentality of this board. I feel if it ends up being, say, for example, O'Neill and Maloney at the end of the season, if something happens and the Wilfred Nancy deal completely dies, if somehow happens, I think it'll just transition to Sean Maloney in the summer. And I just think long term, that's not the answer. I think he's good as a coach. I think he can work well as an underling to a top manager, but I cannot see Sean Maloney's top guy. And that's what I am worried about. Celtic are looking
There's too many roads. There's too many roads all leading to Nancy. I think it's just a matter of time. Johnny, grade 6. No, I can hold on. I'm happy enough knowing the winnings are coming in, and I'm gonna reinvest them straight away onto something else. No, Phil, honestly, I think as much as I said a few weeks ago that I think the best chance of us having success is to keep Martin and that backroom team. It's only kicking down the road. Like Martin's, from listening to him, he wants to be back home with his wife for Christmas. That's what he wants. He's loved it. It's reinvigorating for him. There's been a few moments where he's kind of thought, oh, do you know what? I maybe would think about doing this or that. He wants to be home with his wife in front of the fire for Christmas. Now, my own personal thought is, if he's still there against Dundee, I would let him do the Hearts one. I don't think you bring in somebody new for the Hearts game. I think you let it run and you do that Hearts game and then you do it from there. I think that's what I would do, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's never dull in terms of Celtic and the hunt for a new manager. Is there a chance it might not be Wilfred Nancy? There probably still is a chance because it's Celtic and we've been
exactly. You can't rule anything out with this team.
Nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible. But in the same vein, Phil, nothing's impossible means that we could win a treble this season, in the season where we have been through turmoil after absolute turmoil, and you wouldn't put it beyond Celtic to do that. We're up to 153 here, by the way. Yep. Superb. Everyone, give us a like, give us a share. Let's get us up towards that 2,000, please.
It was funny full time when he was getting interviewed by the Sky team, and he was saying things like, I mean, if they could just not find the paperwork for a couple more days, I wouldn't be complaining and all that. So he was going along with it. He was kind of saying, would you like to stay a bit longer, Martin? And he was just kind of going along with it and playing about, saying, no, I mean, if they couldn't find the paperwork for another couple of days, I wouldn't be complaining.
Did you hear him asking? Did you hear us asking Bhoys if he was okay?
Yes.
Here, Phil. I know you don't drink very much, but here's something that's really nice. See, when you've set yourself out for a Sunday.
Yep.
See, I had a couple of cans on Thursday night. I wasn't even going to have cans on Thursday night before the show, but because we won, I was excited. So I had a couple of cans on Thursday night, and then I was out at a darts competition on Friday night, and I wasn't even supposed to be going, but somebody pulled out. So I had a few more drinks at that. I wasn't meant to be drinking yesterday at all, but my wife was away for the weekend, and I just got bored. So I lit a fire in the back garden, and I had a couple of cans yesterday. And then today I wasn't going to have any at all, but I had a couple more. But see, when you've set yourself out for a plan. So my plan, once I started the day, I said, right, I'm going to do, this is my number. And see, when you lift your glass and you realize you've still got a few more to go, that is the best feeling. The best feeling. So because I've got work and stuff tomorrow, I've set myself a wee plan out, but see, when you lift it and you realize you've still got 2.5 odds left, and a decent drop of Monster.
Oh, Monster's your mixer.
Well, that's the mixer. Now, let me just give it its full title: Monster Ultra Fiesta Mango. There you go. That is the combination for Celtic fans on this Saturday.
Ultra Fiesta
Sunday,
Mango.
Saturday.
What?
Fucking Saturday and on a Sunday. Right. So, one funny moment on Sky. They were interviewing Liam Scales and Callum McGregor. I thought Liam Scales was my man of the match. Callum McGregor thought Liam Scales was the man of the match. Liam Scales also thought he was the man of the match. Yeah. They handed the bottle to Callum McGregor and said, can you do one final thing for us and hand the man of the match award? And Liam Scales holds his hands out and they go, give it to Dyson Maeda. Fucking hell.
That was so weird because normally the way they would do that is the two players that are there, they talk to one and then they hand it to him to give it to the other guy because he's the man of the match. It was so weird. I thought at first they were just joking around and it actually was going to be Liam Scales. But then they came back to the panel and they were talking to Mark the Real saying, oh, Dyson Maeda get the man of the match. Do you agree with their choice? And I was like, oh, they're being real. Oh, I felt really bad for Liam Scales after that because I did have quite a good game, to be fair. As has been the case.
He thought he was getting a wee ball and this is later on.
Poor guy, man, honestly, because he's been one of our more consistent players this season. I keep saying it, Scales fundamentally for the defensive stuff, he does pretty well. I just don't ask him to pass the ball, but unfortunately, we're in a day and age where every centre-back has to be good with the ball at their feet. It's just how everyone wants to play. But in terms of just the basic fundamentals and being a threat in the air, he's actually really, really good at that. So I fair play. Love me to continue with Scalesy.
Phil, I'm just going to bring up one more comment here before we finish. We're just over the hour mark and nobody wants to listen to me talking drunken shit all afternoon. Shankland T96. I just want to give you a shout out there because you've been coming on here from when Hearts were about 10 ahead, and you've been in the chat, and you're more than welcome, and you're still here whenever we have clawed the whole thing back, and you've been very, very respectful, and 100% credit that you're very welcome. Stay here to the end of the season. As long as there's no nonsense, you're very, very welcome, and you're giving Celtic credit for a champion's mentality. And I think we bring that back round. Martin O'Neill has come in with a winner's mentality, and that has made its way through to the players. I've already said it. I'm already on record. If Brendan Rodgers was still here, we would not be in this position. We would not. There's every chance we wouldn't be in the League Cup final. We would not have closed the gap on Hearts to a point where we may actually be ahead when the extra game gets played. And we would not be still in with a chance of getting involved in the Europa League next phase. Do I think Brendan Rodgers is a bad manager? No. I just think it was the wrong combination, and it was going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
And wee Martin, who's just been doing a wee part-time job with 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours a week, standing on TV and telling jokes, he has come in. He's reinvigorated things. He's dragged us into 3 competitions that we could well have been out of if he hadn't come in. And he is about to hand the reins over to another manager. And we still don't know. Wednesday, we thought today was the last game. Now we're told it's Wednesday. I don't think it'll be Wednesday. I cannot see Wilfred Nancy being the manager on Sunday against Hearts. I can't see it. I think they'll drag it out. I think they'll find a way to get it to next Monday. But fair play to Martin. I just want to go out there. Fair play to him. I thought when I came in, and I said it on here, I didn't think it was fair. There was probably I've probably had a bit of discrimination actually, because I just thought because of his age, because of the shit that was going on between the board and supporters, I just thought it was a horrible situation to bring a man of that age into. It's water off the duck's back to him. He's come in, he's done the job. Here's my question for you, Phil. We don't know exactly when Martin's going to hand the reins over to Wilfred Nancy. We know that I'm Nancy today. Wilfred Nancy. We don't know when it's going to be. We know it's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to be. Is Martin O'Neill still going to be employed by Celtic Football Club in some capacity come the 1st of January?
Again, going by what I've said, yeah, I still think he'll be here. Yes, I think he'll still be in the dugout. I really do. I mean,
do you really think that?
I just keep thinking with Celtic, just as again, it's PTSD with Celtic, with the way things go. There's always some drama.
I think he'll still be here. I don't think he'll be in the dugout.
Do you think he'll maybe get a role of this? Because there was something that was put to him afterwards on Sky where they asked him, like, would you like to be involved in the club in some capacity? And yeah, he didn't seem too against it, but put it back to sort of, well, that's up to the club and up to the new manager and whatnot. But again, I think with Celtic right now, I don't think you can predict anything. I really don't. I mean, logic tells me it should be Wilfred Nancy by then, or if unless there's something dramatic at the last minute, a different person is the new permanent manager. But the way things are going, the way he keeps on moving on and moves back another week and another week, it wouldn't even shock me at all if he was still in the dugout. It wouldn't shock me. Wins the League Cup, and then Celtic are like, ain't broke, don't fix it. He's won a trophy. Still a lot of big games to come. I don't know. I can't really predict right now. I did find it funny though. The best line of the day. You talked about the wee bit with Liam Scales, the man of the match thing. Funniest line. Martin O'Neill saying, "I've been saying goodbye to the players since the first day I was here." That was actually a great one.
I've seen that.
That was actually really good as well. And yeah, it's just the way things are going. It's working though. This is the funny bit. It's working. He's still got the magic. There's just some aura around him. he keeps on talking himself down. He's very good at self-deprecating and all that. But at the end of the day, he's a magician. He knows what he's doing. Regardless of his age, he's clearly still got something to offer. Whether it's Maloney and that are all doing all the donkey work, essentially, with the tactics and that. But if Martin O'Neill's job is literally just to G up the players, you'll put an arm around guys and make them believe that they're 10 feet tall, it's obviously working with some of them. So he's still got something there to offer.
It's charm, Phil. It's charm.
Yeah.
Charm's the word you're looking for. He's just got a charm.
Yeah.
And a lucky charm.
Yeah, it's a very lucky charm. Yes, he has. He's definitely got it right now. And if he's still here with the Hearts game and we can go top, I think, by beating Hearts now. If both Celtic and Hearts win on the midweek games coming this week, because it's a full card on Wednesday night, I think it sets it up then, so we would be able to go top, so we're 2 points behind.
That would be amazing, Phil. That would be amazing, given where we've been.
Yeah.
We've been absolute rock bottom here. There's been so much turmoil within the club, within the manager, the team, and the board, the support, all that fucking whole cocktail of pish going on, and we could go into Christmas top of the league and still in the Europa League, as much as that's not the competition we want to be in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But you still want to be involved in European football in some capacity, because the Europa League is not a diddy competition. It's not at all. And if we can keep ourselves in it and get into the knockout stages, it says, if the January window obviously comes along, then you've got that as an extra thing, a wee bit of appeal. There's European football to be played, and we need to get the monkey off our back with the fact we've not won a knockout stage game for 20 plus years. We need to change that. Like, that has to happen. So we need to try and stay in that competition. Again, that's important for coefficient points. And yeah, we say we could be top of the league come Christmas Day. Christmas number 1 could very well be us. I also want to bring up one quick point though before we finish, just a side note from today's game. Did you see the images of the away end and the number of empty seats that Hibs just had blocked off, and after reducing Celtic's allocation again? I know we're not away-going fans, but I know I've seen some people in the chat whose names I know definitely go to the away games, but did you see the images of the stand that, the Celtic had, where it was the top half and the bottom half? They had that, but it was like there was a cordon down the middle of the stand. And then the Hibs fans were on the other side in the bottom half of the stand, but the complete top half, empty, just empty green seats, not a single person there. And it's like, what? Honestly, what is going on with some clubs in Scottish football where it's like, I guarantee you give that to the full away end for Celtic, you will make money out of that. You will get, or Celtic fans will travel in their numbers from everywhere. But it just feels like it's a running trend now for the last few years that teams keep doing this. Now, I know why we all know why Rangers did it. We all know exactly why they did it. They were probably the first ones to start this, but their reasons are different from these other teams, like your St Mirrens and Hearts and Hibs and Motherwell and all these. Aberdeen, I know they've cut an allocation. But yeah, that was weird to look at today. And it's like, all these moans about there's no money in Scottish football and whatnot. Literally thousands of empty seats in your away end just sitting there. It could have been filled.
I did, Phil. I made a mental note about the amount of empty seats all dotted around the whole stadium. But when I was watching the first half, I felt that end there must be the Hibs home end. But then when it flipped around the second half, there was still loads of gaps at the same end, or at the other end, sorry. And obviously we've got the contingent from the Celtic perspective that were banned from going to the match. So there's got to be some of them didn't get in. But again, how can a club like Hibs not sell out their own stadium for a game against the champions when they're going well and they've got a decent chance of turning us over? How can they not fill their own stadium? And then wind it forward a couple of weeks when you've got St Mirren, who are given a completely disproportionate amount of tickets for a cup final, that will see people get rewarded with a cup final ticket who probably haven't been to a match for 10 years just because they support one of the teams that got there.
Aye. No, it's at times with Scottish football, they say cut your nose off to spite your face. But there's the image, one of the images today.
So that was the Celtic end, was it?
There's a Celtic, there's a Green Brigade banner there on the upper tier. But yeah, Celtic are obviously in the upper tier and the lower tier on the left-hand side, or depending on the way you're looking at the right-hand side of the stand. But yeah, the Hibs fans are on, obviously, the bottom end of the other half, and then the top half, completely empty.
I don't get it, Phil. I don't get it because I get the argument, right? You want to give yourself the best chance of getting the points. But if you look at the prize money for positions in the SPL, the prize money for the winners is so ridiculously low. It doesn't really matter whether you get say for example, you go with the narrative that we give ourselves the best chance to get a result in that game, and you get a point when you shouldn't, when you maybe would have got no points. The actual difference in prize money at the end of the season for finishing third, fourth, fifth, or sixth is fucking completely minimal. Absolutely minimal. You'd have made it just by selling the tickets in the game. And it's just because Easter Road's one of the historical venues, and it's one of the places, again, when the fixtures come out, I always look at Tynecastle, I look at Easter Road, I look at Pittodrie. They're the away games that, despite Celtic's record over the last 20 years, you still look at those games and you still think that's a real banana skin, because their fans will all be there. They'll be out in numbers, and it doesn't actually play out like that, because you see empty seats as you do all over the place. Like,
aye, to say it's been a strange trend for the last few years. I know why Rangers did it. We all know they don't admit it out loud, but we all know exactly why. They couldn't handle us lording it over them in their own ground with 8,000 fans there. But yeah, a lot of other teams who are obviously struggling for money are, they're the first ones to come out and moan about the disproportionate prize money. It's like, well, you easily get, you sell the away tickets, no problem, for Celtic and for Rangers when they come to town as well. But yeah, for whatever reason, it's now a case of the only team that gets that full stand now at Easter Road is Hearts fans, because it's the local derby. But yeah, like Celtic fans would fill that no problem at all. But yeah, it was just weird to see again today, and it's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last time that we see it. But that's their problem, I guess.
Right, Phil, I'm going to draw a line there, because I tell you what, my wife's been away in Dublin all weekend with the girls. She's going to be home at 5:00. I'm not joking you. I have got all the beds to make, all the kids' rooms to clear out, all the dishes to be done. There's a serious cleanup operation needs to be done here before 5:00. So I am going before she gets back, because if she sees that house the way it is now, you're
in trouble.
I'm going to go and get it done here. And we will see you again. We'll see you again Wednesday night. Go again. Is it Martin's last game? Who knows? We don't know. But we'll be here. There's one thing guaranteed. We will be here after the game, win, lose, or draw. And we will chat to you then with a chance that Celtic may be top of the league. Phil, take it out.
Okay, no problem. Catch you later, guys.